was explaining you about the atom. Okay, that is there is a nucleus of an atom, and electrons, they will be revolving around the orbit, right? So here in this electron energy, it means, see, the electrons which is present near the nucleus, okay, that is in the first orbit, okay, and this is the electron which is away, that is far away from the nucleus. Okay, so this is your nucleus. The greater the distance from the nucleus, greater the distance of electron from the nucleus, higher the energy. So that means the energy of this electron is more when compared to this electron. So we can say energy is equal to minus 13.6 divided by n square, where n is the orbit number. So first, this is the first orbit, this is the second orbit, this is the third orbit. So E is equal to minus 13.6. This is for the electron volt. This is for the first orbit. Okay. And for second orbit, minus 13.6 divided by 4. This comes out to be minus 3.4 electron volts. Okay. This is for the second. This is for the first. Next, third orbit, it is minus 13.6 divided by 9. So it comes out to be 1.51. Okay. Minus 1.51. Okay, so this is the electron volt, that is for the third orbit. Okay, so we can say, if this is the nucleus, edge of the nucleus, if I consider, here you have minus 13.6. This is for n is equal to 1. Then you have minus 3.4. This is for n is equal to 2. And then you have minus 1.51. Okay, that is for n is equal to 3. Electron volt. This is your energy. This is the distance from nucleus. Okay, so that means this third orbit is far away from the nucleus, right? So what happens? This is more negative. So what happens when you come away from the nucleus? It starts to become less negative. Less negative means it is approaching towards 0. So what happens? Your energy is increasing, right? So this has higher energy when compared to this. Okay, that is the electron which is present next to the nucleus, in the orbit next to the nucleus. Okay, that means these electrons are bound to the nucleus and they are not free to move. But the electron which is present in the outermost orbit, okay, it is far away from the nucleus. So this can engage in your chemical reactions and also the bonding with other atoms. Okay, so these are the valence electrons. Okay, valence electrons. The electrons present in the outermost orbit, they have greater energy, that is total energy, the kinetic and the potential energy will be more. So what happens? They can be knocked out from the orbit by supplying an external energy. They can be knocked out. So now if there is an atom and if a light or some heat or any radiation falls on that atom, what happens? The electron, it gains energy from that, okay, and then it goes to the higher energy level. That means, see, the first orbit, this I can consider as your ground state. Okay, this is the ground energy level or ground state, and the other orbits are considered as excited states. So n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, 3, no, not 1, 2, 3 and so on. They are excited states. N is equal to 1 will be your ground state. Okay, so these are the higher energy levels. So now what happens? This electron, okay, that is, if I consider the electron in the first orbit, when the light falls here, what happens? The electron, it gains energy and it jumps to the higher energy level. So now it is like it is jumping from first level to the second level. So if I assume this, okay, so this is your ground state, okay, this is your excited state. Electron present here, it will move, it will absorb the energy and it will move to the next level. So that means it goes from n is equal to 1 to n is equal to 2. So in this process what happens? Absorption is taking place. But similarly, if there is an electron here, when it falls back to this level n is equal to 1, it will be emitting the light, or it will emit the energy in the form of light, heat or any radiation. Okay, so now the electron which jumps to the higher energy state, that cannot remain there for long time. It has to come back to its original level. Okay, so it comes back to the original level, emitting your energy. Okay, emitting the energy. So n is equal to 2, 3. These are all the excited states. N is equal to 1 is the ground state. So greater the distance of electron from the nucleus, higher the energy. Okay, so that is what. Now see, this is your n is equal to 2 and n is equal to 3. Suppose I am, okay, when the light falls on this atom, electron is moving from 2 to 3. That means here also excitation is taking place. Okay, from 2 to 3. Now we can write delta E as E final minus E initial. Okay, what is the energy of the n is equal to 3? Okay, what is the energy of this n is equal to 3? It is minus 1.1. And what is this initial one? That is minus 3.4. Okay, so 3.4 minus 1.51. So it comes out to be 1.89 electron volts. So 1.89 electron volt is absorbed, okay, in this process. Suppose it is going from 3 to 2, then what happens? The same thing, but it is minus 3.4 plus 1.51 minus 1.9 electron volt. So in this process what happens? When it comes from 3 to 2, it releases the energy. Okay, 1.89 electron volt is released here, and in this case it is absorbed. Okay, so this is your electron energies. So when we study about the energy band in solids, okay, energy band in solids. If I consider an isolated atom, a single atom, okay, then we can say this is your, okay, edge of the nucleus. Then you have first energy level, second energy level, third energy level, and so on, right? But this is not valid for solids. This is for the isolated atom, okay? So for silicon I can consider this. Okay, so now when we come for solids, in this case what happens? See, if I consider an hydrogen atom, okay, hydrogen atom, it has only one electron in the orbit, right? It has only one electron in the orbit. Now suppose I bring two hydrogen atoms. So first let us consider two isolated hydrogen atoms. Here there is one electron, here there is one electron. Okay, so now it is like this. Okay, but what happens? This is the first level, this is also the first level. The electron in this orbit, here also it is having the energy minus 13.6 electron volt. Here also it has minus 13.6 electron volt. But when these two hydrogen atoms are brought together, okay, then we can say that this energy level, it splits into two. It splits into two. That means this electron, it can occupy any one of the levels. Okay, so we can this is 4. So while explaining the diagram, they say this is the interatomic distance, that is the distance between the two atoms. Okay, so when two atoms are brought, two hydrogen atoms are brought, okay, it will be like this. This is your energy. Suppose I am bringing 4 hydrogen atoms together, then in that case what happens? Okay, this is your energy. This is the interatomic distance between the atoms. So this is when 4 hydrogen atoms are brought together. Okay, so when multiple hydrogen atoms, where many hydrogen atoms are brought together, then what happens? It will, this band, it means these energy levels, they appear to be continuous. So it is like a band. Okay, it is like a band. This is a band. Okay, that is when many hydrogen atoms are brought together. Okay, so we can say here we can see the first band. Here we can see the second band, third band, fourth band. Okay, so these are now in the form of bands, energy bands. So there are discrete energy levels. Okay, see it is like this, many energy levels, they form together a band. And again it is like this, it forms another band. Okay, they appear to be continuous. Okay, these energy levels appear to be continuous here. So this is your band. Because see, in isolated atom, okay, the electron in the orbit, okay, electron in an orbit, here in this orbit it has, okay, that is confined energy 13.6 divided by n square. Okay, here it is minus 13.6. All the electrons in the first orbit will have minus 13.6 electron volt. Here everything will be having minus 3.4 electron volt. Next it will be having minus 1.51 electron volt. That is definite, okay, in an isolated atom. But when you are placing two atoms together, okay, that is in a solid, what happens? This is the outermost electrons that will be experiencing the influence from the neighboring atom. Okay, so these valence electrons and these valence electrons, they may react, or they may, what happens, they will be force of attraction, they will be involving in the formation of the bonds. Okay, so what happens, the electrons in the inner shell, okay, they are not influenced, but the electrons in the outermost shell are influenced. They are influenced. Okay, suppose I'll consider this as 1s, 2s, 2p, then we have, oh sorry, this is 2s, 2p, okay, so 2s, 2p, that is second band, 3s, 3p, 3d, it's something like that. Okay, so 1s band, 2s band, see you 1s means it can accommodate 2 electrons, right, and this also 2 electrons. This is for one atom. But if I bring n atoms together, then it can have 1s band. Okay, this is your 1s band. Okay, n into 2, so it can accommodate 2n. Okay, it can hold up to 2n electrons. 2s band, it can hold up to 2n electrons. Then what about your 2p band? 2p band, see, p means it is 6 electrons. Okay, 6 into n, 6n electrons. Because if I have 2 atoms, 6 plus 6, that is 12 for 2p, right? So 6 into 2, what is that? 12. So it is 6n electrons, 2n electrons in 1s band, 2s, it has 2n electrons. These are the electrons that a band can hold. Okay, these many electrons this band can hold. Okay, so now this outermost orbit electrons, they will not have a definite energy like it was in the isolated atom. So they can fill any one of the discrete energy levels because of the influence from the neighboring atom. Okay, so this is your first band, second band, third band, fourth band. Okay, in case of silicon, if I consider silicon, this first band, okay, first band it is filled, second band it's filled, third band will be your valence band. Why? Silicon, it has atomic number 14. So here it has 2, here it has 8, and outermost orbit has only 4 electrons. This has 8, this is 2. So total it is 14 electrons. Okay, so this is your valence electrons. See, the first band means the first orbit has 2 electrons and it is completely filled. Second band 2s plus 2p, okay, that is 8 electrons. This is also completely filled. But here it has only 4 electrons, whereas this band can, okay, hold up to maximum 8 electrons. Which one? The outermost orbit can hold up to 8 electrons, but in that only 4 electrons are present. So it is not completely filled in case of silicon. But if you consider a solid silicon, this is also completely filled. Valence band is also completely filled. Why? I will tell you why. See, there is a silicon atom here. Here also I am considering silicon. That means each silicon atom is surrounded by the 4 neighboring silicon atoms. So I will consider only the outermost orbit. Okay. See, outermost orbit has 4 valence electrons. This also has 4 valence electrons. This has 4 valence electrons. See, this now it will be forming a bond with this. This is outermost orbit I am considering. Now what happened? It had only 4, but now it has 8 electrons. See, this 8 electrons. Now this is also completely filled, valence band, because outermost orbit also has 8 electrons. Maximum it can accommodate up to 8 electrons. So the valence band is also completely filled. So that is in the case of solid silicon. That is in the case of solid silicon. Above this you will be having the conduction band. Okay, conduction band. It has wide range of energy levels. Okay, so wide range of energy levels. The electrons which are present here, they do not belong to any atom. So they can move freely. So these are responsible for the conduction of electricity. The valence electrons are not responsible for this one, means completely filled electrons are not responsible for the conduction of electricity. Free electrons are responsible for the conduction of electricity. So when you apply a little bit energy, this gains energy and it jumps to the conduction band. But remember, there is an energy gap here. Okay, energy gap. So whatever you are applying, whatever the energy you are applying, it should be greater than this Eg. Because there is no permissible energy level present between the conduction band and the valence band. There is no energy level here. So if you are applying the energy less than Eg, okay, there is no energy level that an electron can accommodate here. Okay, so the energy applied must be greater than Eg. Then only the electron from the valence band jumps to the conduction band and then they become free electrons so that they can conduct electricity. Okay, so this is also called as forbidden energy gap because there is no permissible energy levels. This is also called as forbidden energy gap. So this is equal to 1.21 electron volt for silicon, 0.72 electron volt for germanium. Okay, so this is the value of forbidden energy gap, that is for silicon and germanium. Okay, so this is the valence band, this is the conduction band. You know that band means it will be having multiple energy levels, but they appear to be continuous, so they called as band now. Okay, so I said I have explained you with respect to interatomic distance also, like how the splitting of this energy levels take place and then the formation of the band takes place. Okay, so this is first, second, third and fourth band. In case of silicon, what happens? This 2 are completely filled, but this is not completely filled. But in case of solid silicon, all these 3 bands are completely filled. Okay, they are completely filled. So when I apply an energy greater than the forbidden energy gap, what happens? Electron jumps to the conduction band, and then they are responsible for the conduction of electricity.